Hello and welcome to the 0% Club, a podcast all about reviewing 0% rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes. My name is Evan James and I am joined today by
Tom Budo,
Chris Torres.
Thanks guys for joining me. We watched the wonderful movie Superbabies, Baby Geniuses 2, the second film of the Baby Genius Cinematic Universe, also known as the BGCU. There are 5 films in total. Only 2 of them are considered canon, in my opinion. Just the first 2, although somehow Jon Voight is in all 5, which is incredible.
You know what? He's in all 5?
He's in all 5.
Yeah, he's in all 5.
You should see the trailers for the other 3. I think they reuse shots in all of them, and they're like, it's like pornography level quality, like just homemade green screens, and like it's
these
incredible.
First 2 were the only ones to be in the movie theater. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think these are the only 2 theatrical releases.
Yeah,
I think the others
straight to DVD.
Yeah, the others were like straight to DVD. I think they were actually a TV show. Like I think they came out like in episodes overseas. Like it didn't even happen in America, but then they eventually came out on DVD in America.
I don't know how they did on DVD, but the movie itself had a $20 million budget, if you can believe it, and it grossed $9.4 million.
That is...
How much did Jon Voight get paid?
Are you more surprised by the budget or that it actually grossed almost $10 million?
Given that it's a sequel to a movie that most people know, I'm not that surprised it grossed that much.
Well, you know what? The first movie on Rotten Tomatoes got a 2%.
So we could have done a double dip of
we almost had a double dip
on our show. But Evan, you actually watched part 1, didn't you?
I did. I felt like I couldn't watch this movie without getting some background information. And let me tell you, having watched that first movie, it gave me absolutely nothing. There was nothing. There's a slight continuation of characters. Like for example, the father who runs the daycare in the first movie. He's not in this one, but his brother is, and he runs also kind of the same daycare.
Yeah,
it's in the family, I guess.
Is that it? There's no other nothing carries over, or you want to save the spoils?
2 of the kids carry over. Okay. We'll get into who they were in a little bit. This movie runs a tight 90. It's an hour 28 minutes, just ideal cinematic length.
That is beautiful.
And it was nominated for the 25th Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture.
Got nominated for a Razzie?
Nominated, but didn't win.
Who won that year?
I don't know. I'll find that out for you, though.
So here's something that I figured was pretty crazy. The director of this movie also made Black Christmas, which is one of the scariest movies I ever watched in my life in 1974. And made Porky's and everybody's favorite, A Christmas Story, that's played 24 hours on Christmas every year.
The director that's made The Christmas Story?
He made A Christmas Story, and he also made Baby Geniuses 1 and 2.
So also for just the Razzies, it also got, which I must say I think is a little unfair given what he had to work with. Jon Voight got nominated for Worst Supporting Actor.
Oh, you're right, he did. He lost to Donald Rumsfeld as himself in Fahrenheit 9/11.
Which I gotta say, Jon Voight, I think that's a little. It's a little unfair.
Wait, worst supporting actor that year? Britney Spears in Fahrenheit 9/11 as herself.
He was the supporting
Fahrenheit
actor?
9/11. Yeah, I mean, I guess who are they considering the main, the lead in this movie?
Who did Jon Voight allow to be a top bill over him?
It has to be. Well, I don't want to give the characters away yet, but it's got to be. It's got to be one of the babies.
Yeah, I think the babies definitely lead this. By the way, it lost Worst Picture to Catwoman.
That's fair.
That came out that
year.
Fair. Also, Surviving Christmas, Alexander, and White Chicks were also nominated.
It's a strong.
So wait, there's another bad movie awards where Jon Voight got nominated, and this one I believe he deserves Worst Fake Accent. Jon Voight got nominated for that. It's really bad.
Worst screenplay. Oh, and your boy Bob Clark, the director, got nominated for Worst Director.
But nobody. The interesting thing is nobody ended up winning an award. It's only nominations, so they.
Like you're just not bad enough. If you guys watched the Black Christmas, Porky's, and Christmas Story back to back, and then watched Baby Geniuses 2, I don't know if anybody would ever think that it's the same director, but here we are.
I think it was a pivotal movie in the BGCU, though, the Baby Genius Cinematic Universe.
It's definitely a pivot point in the
Really
in the
kicks
franchise.
It really kicks off the next level for the Baby Geniuses.
The BGCU is incredible.
Look, it's a cinematic.
What's your
universe
favorite cinematic universe? You know, you got the Marvel one, you got Quentin Tarantino's one.
You got the
How about
Miyagi verse.
BGCU? How
This
about the
one-
BGCU?
Look, this really paved the way. Like, they really set the tone for Fast and Furious, who, it took them another 20 years to match and go to space. Like, the Baby Geniuses went to space already. And
That's
so
true.
Fast and Furious just did it.
That's true.
Here's something. The last Baby Geniuses movie got released in 2015, and it's called Baby Geniuses and the Space Baby.
See what I mean?
There you go.
Pioneers.
It's like the Space Baby from 2001 Space Odyssey.
They went to space.
All right, let's get into the plot real quick if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, Chris, take us through.
All right. So, the movie starts at the Berlin Wall in East Berlin, overseen by John Voight, actually playing Adolf Hitler.
Well, John Voight said he based his role of Kane off of Joseph Mengele, who is a very famous Nazi doctor known as the Angel of Death, best known for his work in Auschwitz. So that's what Voight was really channeling in this film.
Did you feel
truly
like he
unbelievable.
channeled that in this movie? Do you believe he had?
It's truly unbelievable that it even started like this. It's not what I expected.
We were
But-
texting each other, and I think Evan watched it first, or no, it was Torres watched it first. It was just like, you guys are not going to believe like how
takes
this
a-
movie starts.
No movie should take a turn before it even starts. It like took a turn and just fell off a cliff immediately. I was not ready for it. I'm pretty sure you guys weren't ready for it either.
Well, we got introduced to our pivotal character, Kahuna, who just
Yes.
comes in where everyone expected it in 1962 at East Berlin. If you saw Baby Geniuses 1, you knew this is where we're going. We're going to East Berlin in 1962.
We kind of skipped the real beginning just to jump to the East Berlin stuff. So it actually starts with the group of babies at the daycare center discussing the story of Kahuna and how he saved a group of kids at the Berlin Wall. And there's like this really, really weird fight scene. Then it just comes back to present day.
Honestly, the best fight scene of the whole movie, in my opinion.
There's two fight scenes that are very similar that we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah,
So
but
back in
I would
present
have to
day,
agree. I mean, I think they that's probably the best fight scene for the Kahuna.
in East Berlin, you have to raise the stakes a little bit, I guess. So we get back to present day, and we see that Scott Baio is also in this movie, and he is Stan Bobbins, who apparently is Dan Bobbins' brother, who is the brother of the person you mentioned from the first one, right, Evan?
Oh yeah, Dan Bobbins. This was an important tie-in.
So is this the only thing that really ties in besides the baby?
Yeah, pretty much just two of the kids, Sly and Wit, I believe.
Well, there you go. And so there's going to be a TV mogul named Kane, who's John Voight, but now in present day he's no longer Hitler, and he wants to use the daycare center as a filming location. The babies get off into some mischief, and they get rescued by Kahuna, because Kahuna is just always there saving the babies. Now they have a babysitter named Kylie who helps them escape, and while they're running away, a disc falls into their bag, into the stroller, and then there's a pursuit, and there's another fight where Kahuna rescues them again. So Kahuna is just all over the place. He's climbing on ceilings, he's doing karate, he's in this room, and then they end up in his secret hideout where he gives all the super babies superpowers. And all the babies have superpower names like Baby Courageous, Bouncing Boy, Cupid Girl, and Brain Boy. So this is what I'm asking you guys. Who's your favorite superhero baby?
Oh man.
I mean, Bouncing Boy was fun, except for it seemed to be exhausting for him. He did it like twice and then was like, "Oh man, I need some milk." Like, what?
Yeah. Bouncing Boy was my favorite for sure.
They also only use their powers for like 5 minutes of this movie total.
They show him at the beginning, yeah.
Isn't that the part that is like all like there's so many ridiculous things in this movie, but it's called Superbabies, and they don't use their super abilities until basically the end
Yeah,
of the
the
movie.
very end, the final climax of the film, we finally see them use their powers. This is after my favorite part of the movie, where I forget why, but they get they call celebrities, and for some reason Whoopi Goldberg has like a cameo in this.
Yeah.
And they refer to her as Whoop. It's like, hey, Whoop. Followed by a very timely reference of O-Town. I don't know if you guys caught who that was. The band O-Town follows Whoopi Goldberg.
I was wondering who that band was. I was wondering.
The MTV days.
Also, like, the whole time, is Kahuna immortal? Is he? Because he was in 1962. Does he not age?
Well, I think we'll get into that later. No, don't they kind of explain that?
They went over that, right?
They kind of explain it later.
So, let's get into it right here.
I had a theory on that.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me throw some stuff out. You want to say your theory first, or you want me to do it afterwards?
Well, so let's because it kind of happens later on in the movie. We'll get there. We'll get there.
So Kylie, the babysitter, starts talking to Zach, who's Kahuna's helper, at this secret hideout. Zach explains that Kahuna's father was a scientist and that he made this potion, and then Kahuna drank it, and then now he turned into a baby. Yes, and
this movie's so fucking dumb.
Well, so he drinks we're talking about how he is like, he's just a baby, right? Yeah. So he just drinks it at that age, whatever age I forget what age he is, like 8 or something. Yeah. And then that potion just, so I believe that he does age, but on the outside you don't see the age because of the potion. He's like stuck in the body, but he's getting older.
He's older mentally.
Oh, but it's not like a Benjamin Button situation?
Yeah, he's older mentally.
But he's not getting bigger. Yeah, so he becomes a super baby.
He's like the James Bond of the Superbabies.
Yeah.
It's not a Benjamin Button situation, though. You think he's aging forward, not back.
The guy, he can do it all.
Yeah. Okay, and then Kahuna's father dies. And actually, Kahuna's brother sees him and is upset that he got to drink the potion. Kahuna's father dies, and then Kahuna was put in an orphanage. He escapes, and then he goes around rescuing babies. The next scene, the disc falls out of the stroller that fell in there earlier from the orphanage. This disc is like a CDR, like rewritable disc that was very popular in the 90s. Like they couldn't find something fancier. It's just this disc that is just, it looked like we used to make mixtapes on it back in like the 90s and early 2000s.
The burn CD.
There you go. It's a burn CD, and it contains like video clips of that this guy Kane is up to no good. So the plan for this disc that they found was apparently that Kane was going to try to take over the world by hypnotizing people through this TV channel. So Kahuna comes and tries to stop it. He shows up in a helicopter. Then he gets caught. He gets kidnapped, and then all the babies show up as their superhero form and get into a big brawl at this headquarters. And then it's revealed that John Voight's character, Kane, was Kahuna's brother the whole time. And then Kahuna tells them that's all they need to do. They're good now. To the babies, they don't need his help anymore. And then he leaves a stick for them. He reappears and says, "Hey, you're like a hero now," and then flies off, and that's the end of the movie.
I mean, that's like the big reveal, right? Or one of them that they're related to each other. They're brothers.
The big shocking twist.
That's the shocking twist. I mean, I wasn't ready for that. Were you?
No.
I'm still not ready for that.
No, I wasn't. I still.
Of all the twists and turns this movie put you through, the last thing I thought was that Kahuna and Kane were brothers.
Yeah, and we learned that Kane hates babies, because he gets turned into a baby at the end. And says, "quote Oh no, I hate babies."
You're right. I missed that.
Taking notes on this movie, I have an out of context quote. I don't know that he said. That's just control the children, control the world.
I have some out of context quotes as well. As Genghis Khan once said, "The more the merrier."
Can I tell you what my favorite line in the whole movie was?
Oh, what is it?
So my favorite line in the whole movie is, "What can I tell you? Little boys like their toys."
I guess that's true. I also like how they say off the hook and this is the bomb, which is very 90s, 2000.
They're not even just bad 90s references in this movie. They reference Three Stooges, Popeye, Mary Poppins, and Casablanca. These are not timely references even for then.
Yeah. Also, when they're walking through the headquarters, Kahuna's headquarters, they're like astonished by these holograms. Like they've never seen anything in their life like this, but they're all supposed to be geniuses. They're all supposed to be baby geniuses, and they're like losing their mind over seeing a fake hologram elephant walk by, which I thought was weird.
So this is the thing, like, you guys are, one of the things I thought was hysterical in the first fight sequence was that they have the Kahuna take steroids before the fight, basically.
Oh, yeah.
He chugs some, like, mystery drink and then just kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does do that, yeah.
You just have a baby just chugging steroids.
It's like Popeye's spinach, man. He just juices up.
It's just this mysterious
it's
green...
the super juice, right? He calls it the super juice?
It's a super juice. Wait,
So, was Kahuna in part 1?
No. There was no
Really?
Kahuna in the first movie that I remember.
I feel like, why does he have such a big part in this movie if he's not in part 1?
Yeah, the whole first movie is just about their language and the Baby Genius Corporation, which is like the company that's like trying to develop the baby language and not necessarily prove that there is a secret language that babies have to communicate with each other, but it's all about that and the reveal that Scott Baio's brother sort of remembers it and starts to catch them talking. It's ridiculous.
There's a lot going on in this movie that I want to know answers to, but I also don't want to know. It just makes it. But I also want to what Kylie, the babysitter, was just fine with just running away and hanging out with these babies all day. Like it was no problem.
she also just from the beginning is like, these babies know something, man.
She's got a subplot though too of like her own thing.
Oh yeah, well she has trouble on the dating scene.
Well, yeah, she tries to ask out her like high school crush, and she's holding homecoming tickets behind her. And as she's asking him out, he's like, "Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. Can you tutor me?" She just gets curbed so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor girl. And then even the guy that she ends up with at the end, she kisses him, and like she goes, "Oh," because she like realized something else about the babies, and he's like goes, "You don't know what a kiss is?"
Oh yeah, you're right. He said,
I forgot about
right. I remember that. This was literally going to bring up my point of how many just movie cliches are in this movie. Just like those tropes, like her being like the nerdy babysitter, like teacher person trying to win over some football player that's never going to like her. And then you have Scott Baio, who's the stereotypical husband workaholic who doesn't pay attention or respect his wife at all. It's like they don't try at all in this movie, and it's like impressive the level of not trying.
So I have a question. Did you guys at first think Kahuna was like a spirit animal, and these babies were taking care of business themselves, and that he wasn't really there, or did you think Kahuna was real from the get go?
I thought Kahuna was real, but I like that theory. That gives this movie a level of depth I don't think it has.
I thought Kahuna was real too.
Yeah, I thought it was fake at the beginning. I thought it was like the babies were trying to figure out a way to give themselves hope, and they're like, "Oh well, this Kahuna baby did it, so we can do it."
Interesting.
I like that. That actually gives this movie some sort of depth.
I don't think they thought about it that much, but
I don't think they did either, man.
I do like it though. I mean, the baby jumped a Mustang over the Berlin Wall, so anything's possible. In the beginning of the movie.
oh my god.
Fun fact: Kahuna is actually played by 3 different babies.
Wow.
That is a fun fact.
It's a pair of triplets, and when I tried to look up who they were, I found this amazingly disturbing BuzzFeed article called "The Triplets from Baby Geniuses Are Ridiculously Hot Now."
Wow.
Apparently they're like amateur hockey players.
Identical triplets.
I want to know why they had a $20 million budget and they just used a regular CDR that they bought at a pharmacy, and they couldn't find a better one.
Do you think that $19 million went to Jon Voight?
No, I think $10 million went to Jon Voight. $5 million went to Whoopi Goldberg's 2-minute cameo.
And Scott Baio got what? Like
Scott Baio got 4
pills or something?
That brings up one of my favorite quotes. I want to go through some quotes from critics. Sean P. Means from the Salt Lake Tribute asked, "What incriminating photos did the producers have on Jon Voight?"
I'm wondering if Jon Voight thought this was going to be a big time franchise, and he just has stake in it, and he's like, "Well, you don't have to pay me that much because we're about to be billionaires off this franchise."
He must have something in it. He like I want to say he's got some sort of family member that's running it, because he keeps doing them. He did 5 of these things.
He did 5 of them.
He's relentless. He can't stop.
Another quote, Christopher Borelli of the Toledo Blade said, quote, "I found this all profoundly disturbing." Joanne Kaufman of the Wall Street Journal said it was unspeakably ghastly.
Oh, man. These quotes are great on Rotten Tomatoes.
Tim Brayton of Alternate Ending said it was, quote, "one of the vilest films of the 2000s. Some user reviews. Thomas L. gave it half a star and said, quote, "I'd rather tear my skin off and eat it than watch this awful movie again."
So the audience gave it 24%, so they didn't hate it.
There's a couple 5-star reviews in there. Like Chris C. gave it 5 stars, said, "Fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes. This was excellent." Braden C. gave it 5 stars, said, "Awesome. Better than The Godfather."
Better than The Godfather. See, this is what, the 24% can't actually be 24%.
I bet Jon Voight also thinks it's better than The Godfather.
Well, Timothy C., with my favorite quote, said, "This is why Angelina Jolie doesn't speak to her dad, Jon Voight, anymore."
I like,
oh my God.
This one person, Jesse O, wrote, "Whoever greenlit this movie needs to be put in all caps more pain than the person who greenlit the original." Jesse O wants violence.
Well, I like this one. JSAD P985. It's a terrible movie. Very, very bad jokes and a bad plot.
Straightforward.
That's it. And that was 1 day ago. They actually
1 day
reviewed
ago.
this 1 day ago.
Wow.
1 day ago.
Maybe we could plug our podcast on here.
Yeah, right.
We might be able to.
Gabriel Z said, "Imagine babies vomiting on you until you drowned. That would be better than this movie."
The reviews are better than the movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's so good.
Let's put our cards on the table. Do you think this movie deserved its 0%?
Ooh.
Yes, I do. I think it earned its 0%. This is the first one we've watched for this podcast, so I mean, maybe I'm just being a little aggressive, and there are worse movies in this one, but this is easily, to date, the worst movie I've watched. It eclipsed some other movies that I've seen. By far, it earned its rating.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think it deserved 0%.
Interesting.
It deserved a bad rating.
What would you give it?
There was a moment, I'd give it like a 10. Like, I'm not going out on a limb on this movie. But
Okay.
There was a moment about 20 minutes in where I was like, this movie is incredible. This is a movie I want on at 4 a.m. with like 6 of my friends around.
Stoned.
With like a pizza, and a ton of beers, and this movie would be incredible. But then it kind of just lost the steam. Like the opening scene with Kahuna in East Berlin is incredible, and it just really sets a tone that the rest of the movie does not live up to.
They should have saved the East Berlin scene for the climax.
Yeah, climax of the film was pretty boring. The whole end of the film, it was just a mess.
The whole movie was boring.
Yeah, but it started off strong. What do you think, Chris?
What do you think, Torres? What do you got?
I think Superbabies, Baby Geniuses 2 deserves its 0%. It was rough to watch, but it was worth the one-time watching so that maybe if somebody ever listens to this podcast, they won't. So if we could save somebody else from watching this movie, then I think it's good. We could also throw out there that we can't even find it on streaming. You can't even rent it on Amazon or buy the DVDs. We had to find a website.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all have pretty bad viruses on our computer from watching this.
Oh, I watched it on my phone
There's no other way to watch it.
just to be safe.
There was no other way to watch it. We would have had to buy the VHS off eBay for $4.
See, because the problem is I have, the only laptop I own is my work one, and I would be more embarrassed to tell them that I have a virus from Superbabies, Baby Geniuses 2 than like if I watch something actually bad on the computer.
I'd love to see that.
Like why did this computer brick, man? It's a $2,000 MacBook.
You ever heard of Superbabies, Baby Geniuses 2?
You ever heard of the BGCU?
Do you know the BGCU? Now I almost wish that you can like just give a computer back that's perfectly fine and just tell them that this is why it's dead, just to see what they would say. You were watching what?
Make the poster the background of your computer too.
I'm just looking at my stream of notes, my consciousness of when watching this movie, and I wrote 4 times, like, I truly can't believe Jon Voight agreed to do this movie. And this was before knowing that he did all 5.
Adventure comes in small packages. Playtime is over.
It's wild. It really is wild. I got like a philosophical question for you guys about this movie.
Okay.
Maybe I just missed it. Why does this man think that if he controls babies or children through the TV that he'll have like basically world domination? He'll be like the supreme ruler of the earth in the BGCU.
Come on, man. Come on, Tom. Control the babies, control the world.
Yeah.
Simple.
Like, see, that's why I have it at a 0%. There's like very minimal explanation. Why this man thinks...
You don't need that. You control the babies, you control the world.
They're trying to make a bigger like statement about film TV consumption for children, and it fell so flat on its face.
It was because it was like an afterthought. It was like the dude who wrote this movie like was like, oh yeah, my whole point to begin with was children should play outside. I should like shoehorn this in at the end.
Like Kahuna.
That's amazing.
If you want us to review some more movies, make sure to share this podcast with your friends. Give it a like, give it a download, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening. Have a good night.